Hey everybody, it's me, Lawrence Prezman, the Prez. You're watching Stoppage Time. Love this show. We get to talk soccer. Three guests joining us today. Nick Borrman at Borman00, Carmine Bianco at Carmine Bianco double T, and Pavlos, the man who liked the name Pavlos so much he pluralized it, Laguretos. I probably said all of that wrong, at Paulie_WT. And let's start right there. That's a nice big smile, Pavlos. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm having a great week with my plays. And I'm looking forward to continuing that streak.
So elaborate. How many wins? How many losses?
Actually, I'm almost perfect in my Bundesliga plays. I have 4 wins, no losses, and a half win. And that includes 2 5% top bets. The one was 1 and the other one was a half win. And in my last 11 plays, I have 8.5 wins, 2 losses, and half, it's a return on the money. So it's 81%. It's
outstanding nice stuff. Hey, everybody, thanks for joining us. Mike D, Jonathan Ramirez, Zeke, and Elray, Keith. Really appreciate you guys logging on. It means the world to me. Carmine Bianco, what's going on with you? How are you doing? Are you winning? Are you losing? Are you in a good mood?
I'm getting some rest, if that's any good news. But yeah, it's one of those up and down things right now. It was a good Bundesliga weekend for me, 5-2 with the 7 Bundesliga selections. Pretty much everything else wasn't as good, pretty bad. Yesterday was a bad day, but we're just looking to flip it on that one and get this week rolling with some winners.
Well, it sounds like both of you are rolling. Nick Borrman, the man who has pretty much stolen the show for the last 3 months. What about you, brother?
Had a good Bundesliga weekend, 6-1. The only loss, though, I have to complain, was my 5%. So, of course, that's how it goes. But still, obviously, a very profitable weekend in the Bundesliga. One Friday and one Sunday. It was a couple other plays on Saturday, so split the day on Saturday. But then Monday, Tuesday, 2-2 each day. So been a little slow to start this week, but hoping for a couple winners today. So we'll see what we get.
Love it. Our 3 experts plus Kevin Dolan, and you'll hear from him on Friday, are all absolutely dominating the pitch. Zekin just doesn't stop with you, Carm.
Yeah, he's the Lazio fans. It is what it is,
So listen, I don't know soccer like you know soccer. When was the last time Forza Lazio won anything? Are they the Buffalo Sabres of soccer?
They pretty much are. Yeah, you know what I mean. They're the kid brother to, or the kid sister to Roma. Obviously, they both play in the Olimpico in Rome, but Rome is the team there, and Lazio's like the little sister. But they're trying to give Juve a run for the title this year. We'll see what happens. But all the best to them.
They won the cup last year, right?
Yeah, those things.
Carm couldn't even get that out of his mouth, Nick. He literally was unable to say that.
Unimportant.
Yeah, but I am surprised, Carm. I mean, you being a Juvo fan and all, it does confuse me slightly because, me and you are good friends, and I know you to pick teams that never win at anything. So
yeah, pretty much. I'm a Bills fan. I'm a Sabres fan.
Yeah. Why did you pick a team that actually wins? That just doesn't seem in keeping with your strategies.
Yeah, well, we've made a very good job of losing Champions League finals, so maybe it's that, right? We made a final. We've only won 2 of them, so maybe it's that. Who knows? Could be.
Chaz Ellington, welcome to the show. Love your name. Abel, my friend, what's going on? Hope you're well. Love seeing you. Obviously, we're taking questions in the forum, so let us know if you want the boys to answer anything in particular. But let's get to it, guys. Another European league returns to action. The Primeira in Portugal. You look Portuguese, Pavlos. I don't know what that means exactly. But you certainly look more Portuguese than the three of us. 10 match days left. Let's get into that briefly, Carm. Fill us in on what's going on in this wonderful soccer league.
If we're talking about the Premier League, yeah, it's I think they've got about 10 match days left, 10 or 12 match days left. The Premier League for the last few years, it's been dominated pretty much by two teams, that Porto FC or FC Porto, if you want to call them that, and Benfica. Sporting, which I'll talk about a little later on in the show, another team with sort of a storied history, but there seems to be a separation the last couple of years, and it's been FC Porto and Benfica that have taken those top two spots and the Champions League spots. So it's pretty much going to be the same thing this year. Those two teams have separation again. They're both going to the Champions League again. And it's just a race for the Europa Leagues and those relegation spots.
Brian Lim says, you guys taking Prez crap. Nick, why do you take my crap?
I never take your crap. I don't know what he's talking about.
No.
It's in one ear, out the other. I don't even hear it.
Oh, Nick, I know it's the beginning of the month and checks are being sent out to all the handicappers. I totally lost your address.
Oh, that hurts. I'm sorry. I'll take all the crap I need.
Yeah, so let's redo that segment. So, Nick, why do you take Prez's crap?
Because Prez is the man, and we must listen to the Prez. We love the
There
Prez.
you go. Pavlos, you're up first, dude. We're going to look at 3 games in depth. You're on tap. Let's start with Benfica versus Tondello. Benfica, they're 1 point behind FC Porto for the top spot. Tondello are 14th, but they're likely safe from relegation. Important game. Talk to me, my friend. What are your thoughts?
Well, Benfica were actually leading the Portuguese league, but they kind of messed up lately. Before the break, they only won 1 of their last 5 matches. So they allowed FC Porto to overtake them in the standings. So Porto are leading the standings with 60 points, and Benfica are second with 59 points. Benfica have truly dominated the league along with Porto. They've won 5 of the last 6 championships. So they're looking to do that once again this year. But as I said, they pretty much messed up, and they now need, with just 10 match days to finish the season, they'll need Porto to stumble somewhere because they're 1 point behind. And even if they win all their matches, they still need FC Porto to either draw or lose one. Benfica were also playing in the Europa League at the round of 32, but they were eliminated by Shakhtar Donetsk. So when teams play in the Europa League, they tend to underperform in the domestic league. But now that the Europa League is out of the way, they'll focus hard on winning the championship. Let's take a look at Tondela. They are sitting at the 14th spot, as you said. They have 25 points. They're sitting 9 points above the relegation zone, so they're pretty much safe for now. But with 10 more matches to be played, anything can happen. And this is one of their hardest matches to finish the season. I don't really think that they can challenge Benfica for any points here. Benfica are really strong at home. They have 9 wins, 2 losses, and just 1 draw. They have the best offense, the best home offense with 28 goals, and the second best defense with just 7 goals. They have conceded just 7 goals in 12 matches. Tondela, they haven't done really bad on the road. They have 5 wins, 5 losses, and 2 draws. But Benfica have also dominated this matchup in all time. They've only lost once to Tondela and won like 8 times. Benfica are a really strong side, especially at home. They might lose a bit of their home advantage now that the matches are played without any fans, but they're still they have the 2 best scorers in the league, and I think that they will restart the season with a solid win here. So I think that they will cover the 2-goal spread. I think the line is at 2 goals. Yeah, Benfica minus 2 goals. I think they'll be able to cover that one way or the other. They're very strong, and they want to finish the season with the title.
Carm, Nick, I know you guys aren't discussing this game, but I'd like to start instituting a red card, yellow card, no card. Carm, what would you give Pavlos' thoughts there? Red card, yellow card, or no card?
I'd give him no card. He gave you the info that I think is really needed. This is the opening games of the restart, and those have been the toughest. Pretty much in every league so far that's restarted, that first week has been very tough to figure out. So very good for him.
And Nick, do you agree, disagree, or are you on the fence?
I am, well, Benfica, if you look at the results, the 2-goal line, if you're going to go one way on the side, I agree with him. I think 2 goals is kind of that tough number where it's likely going to be a push versus possibly even a win or a draw. I think that's number set right on where it should be. But I like the over here. If you look at all their games at home, they haven't been conceding a lot as well this year. So, Tondela is good enough where they can at least get one, and if they do, that 3-1 number, which is right where the line is, and misses out on winning the spread, is an easy over for this game. So I do think the over is actually worth a look. So I don't know what kind of card you call that. Maybe that's a green card. It's not really.
Yeah, everybody wants a green card, Nick. Yeah, so American, thinking we all want green cards, huh? Yeah, so welcome to the show, guys. William Lane, Brian Lim, Mike D, Andrew McGinnis. Nice to see you in the chat room like always. Guys, make sure to check out Andrew McGinnis's Korean baseball show. It goes every day at 4 p.m. Eastern with Dave Koken. And Carm, Nick, Pavlos, I don't know if you've checked the show out. It is highly viewed. Andrew is doing an absolutely killer job with the show. So shout out to him. And make sure to check out our NASCAR show. It's up next, 2 p.m. Eastern today. It's an awesome show. The guys have got incredible chemistry. And it's also one of the lighter shows we do. It's really 3 guys and a beer. And we watch them just share the same beer. 3 o'clock, straight from the strip. Minty, Kelly, and Gianni. That's our most watched show, so check that out at 3 p.m. Eastern. Tomorrow there's a 1 o'clock show with Kyle and Minty. They talk UFC. And then at 3 p.m. Eastern is Teddy and Minty with Betting 101. William Lane, why is KBO killing you, bro? Just go buy the picks at WagerTalk.com and bet them. Dave's winning. Andrew's winning. Bogus, nice to see you. He's joined us all the way from Portugal. How do I say that, Pavlos? Portugal.
Yes, it's perfect.
You know what's perfect? Your beard. It's an Nick, as a man who has like a half beard, his beard is impressive.
Yeah, I can't grow one as thick and burly and awesome as that one is, so I'm jealous.
I guarantee you Carm can. He's Italian. I was explaining to my daughters last night that Italian men are very hairy. I literally was. Carm, would you like to add to that?
Not so much.
Okay. Carm, let's look at the other big game for Thursday. Vitória FC hosts Sporting. Just get into it, man. And remember, we're going to judge you.
Yeah, no, I was going to stick you with the other pronunciation of the name, but I gave you Vitória FC.
I
Against
had the
Sporting
other
FC.
pronunciation down. I was practicing all night. And
You were, right?
I loved when you wrote like Guy Lafleur. That was beautiful. That was like the best part of the email.
Well, it's Guimarães. Guimarães is the Portugal way of saying it, but you struggled a little bit with Benfica, so I was a little worried about Guimarães. But anyways, with regards to this, I want to, anytime a couple teams play each other 163 times, you have to think these are, for lack of a better word, storied franchises. They play each other 163 times in all competitions, 150 times in league play will be tomorrow's game. And both teams are in the top six. Neither one has a shot at the Champions League spot, of course. Those have already gone to Benfica and FC Porto in my eyes. So the focus really shifts on like third and fourth in those Europa League spots. And Sporting holds that last spot with a 5-point lead over this Vitória side. So this is a big game in the sense of the home side needs a win here, shorten that lead to 2. And Sporting still have 2 very tough games where they've got to go to Benfica, they've got to go to Porto. So there's a good chance they drop points there. So a win here puts this team and their supporters and the ultras excited at a possible European spot in the Europa League. As far as Vitória, they've been solid at home. 6-2-4 doesn't look like that great a record when 6 draws, 6 wins, 2 draws, 4 losses. But they've only allowed 10 goals at home through those 12 games. They've been very well defensively. They won last season's. They split last season's 2 games, but winning the one at home 1-0. And you look at a team like Sporting. They've been one of the more reliable sides over the years, but the past couple seasons they just haven't been the same. I'm going to get into that for a second. And on the road, they've gone 5-3-4 with an 18 to 14 goal differential. The reason I said I wanted to get to the FC, the Sporting one, is I talked to Pavlos about this before we went on air. And Prez, you won't remember this. This goes back a couple of years, but I tweeted out and I put up as a play on WagerTalk, Sporting FC 2 years ago, the 2017-2018 season. Last game of the season, they're tied for second spot with Benfica, and all they need to do is win on the road. And
that's all.
They go to that's all they got to do, and they get a Champions League spot. That's where all the money is. This is why I mentioned in my plays, teams want to qualify because there's just a ton of money when you qualify for this competition. They went on the road to Maritimo, and they lose 2-1. Benfica wins on that same weekend and takes that last Champions League spot. Do you know what the Ultras did for the team? They literally went into the dressing room and beat the players up.
What?
Beat them
What
up.
are they from, Iraq?
They beat
no,
the
was that
players up.
Iran?
So
One of those two in the
so
Olympics.
None of the Sporting players, to a man, none of them wanted to be there the following season and talked about it during the week that they were going to void contracts, they were leaving. Well, it just so happens that the week after this happened, they had to play in the Portugal Cup finals. The Taca de Portugal is called, but and they were playing a team called Aves, who were 40 points lower than them in the standings. So I released Aves at plus 750. I tweeted out to take this team at plus 750 because I just knew the players weren't going to show up for that game mentally or physically.
Right.
And Aves won that game. They got out to a 2-0 lead. They gave up one very late goal, and Aves wins that 2-1. And the players after that all left. They literally went to different teams. Their goalie, Rui Patrice, is now the goaltender for Wolverhampton, the Wolves. And the players left. And that's why this team over the last couple of years has been the same. They're still good enough to finish third. They have quality on that team, but they're just not competing. Anyways, with regards to this one, I'm going to take the home side here. You can get plus 145 on them.
Nice.
I think, their losses at home, 4 losses at home, came to the first, second, and third place sides in the league right now, and the fifth place side. So their 4 losses are to top 5 teams that the only team that they haven't played in the top five is Sporting. So you could say that maybe it's another loss, but Sporting's losses, they haven't played any of the top six sides other than, two games. They've lost one, drawn one, and they still have Benfica and Sporting on the road, which are probably in a couple more losses. So this is just, their road losses have come to teams in the bottom half of the league. Not good. I'm gonna take the plus 145 here with the home side, and then throw out a prop bet on Bruno Duarte to plus 160 to score anytime.
Excellent stuff. Okay, ignore the prop bet. Pavlos, red card for egregiously wrong. Yellow card for you don't care or know and leave it to Carm. Or no card because that handsome bald man is right.
No card.
And you, Nick?
I'm going to go yellow card only because I've tried to make arguments both ways. Sporting, he's right. Not the same team. They haven't been great on the road. Yet, Guimarães has lost a couple at home to the better teams in the league. Sporting maybe not quite up to that same level right now. But I'm going yellow here. I personally just don't like a lot in this match. But I wish Carm the best of luck.
There you go. Shaker, welcome to the show. Guys, I want to just mention, because a couple of people put in the posting in our chat room on YouTube. And Shaker wrote, he finally bought a play from Andrew and it lost. Guys, I'm telling you flat out, it is really hard to be a long-term winner buying picks when you buy individual days. The problem is there are so many variables in winning. You guys, if you just pick a day to buy somebody's plays, you're literally just picking a day and hoping that they win on that particular day. Most of these guys are winning 57% of the time, give or take. That means that there's close to 5 out of 10 days, around 4 out of every 10 days, they're going to lose. Please buy a week or a month of plays. If you need a deal, if you can't afford the packages that we put up there, just email Missy at WagerTalk.com or email our customer service. But really, if you're buying picks on a random day, well, it's just random, and it's really not going to work in the long run. As for you, William, if you're not feeling it in KBO, dude, I agree with you. Just call it a day and wait for Major League Baseball to start. There's no reason to have action every single day of your life, unless, of course, that action is something else, which I'm been banned from discussing on air any longer. So if you're not feeling it, just wait it out. El Ray writes, I won with Carmine last week and hoping to win with Nick this week. People need to relax and appreciate these cappers. Thanks, brother. Well said. And thank you, Jonathan, as well. Abel, you too. Nick, you're up, brother. Yeah, round of 30 of the Bundesliga kicks off Friday. Freiburg hosting the name from hell. Who do you like in this game?
Go with Gladbach. It's easier than pronouncing the whole thing. Mönchengladbach. Just go Gladbach.
Well, I think the name rolls off the tongue, right? Like, where are you from? Mönchengladbach.
Like Smith.
It's like Smith. Dude. It's like everybody's last name is Mönchengladbach. But I'm sure, Nick, that it's a Pavlos, can you attest? It's a right? There's involved.
It's it's Gladbach.
Yeah. So, Nick, I would appreciate, given that you're on the show with 3 other incredibly astute soccer experts, that you pronounce it correctly.
Gladbach. Sorry, I just had a French fry in my throat. All right. So to get to this game, Gladbach, I think we were all on Gladbach last week as they played Union Berlin, but I'll get to that in a second. So 4 games so far since the restart. They looked good in their first game. I was impressed with their win. They went on the road and won 3-1 at Frankfurt. And they looked really good and in sync with each other after 2 months off. It didn't really look like they had taken the break. So good first start. Then they did a complete 180 in their second match. They lost 1-3 at home to Leverkusen. Leverkusen's a good team, so it's not like the result is totally surprising. But they were really outplayed. They really didn't get a ton of chances, and they struggled defensively. Kai Havertz was running all over the field, and Leverkusen really took it to them pretty good. So I thought it was a 180 from the first match. And then last week, or 2 weeks ago, they were unimpressive. They went into Werder Bremen. I was on Gladbach again in this game to win, and they drew 0-0 at Bremen. And I think Pavlos was on Bremen in that game, or at least advising to go with Bremen as they were fighting relegation. And there's always a little life on that team when they're doing that. They were better on defense in that game, but Bremen doesn't really have the best, most potent attack in the league. And offensively, they really struggled to create any chances once again. And then last week, as I alluded to before, they went in and won at home against Union Berlin 4-1 in a very easy game for them, which was expected if you just looked at the teams just a little bit. So they've kind of been up and down these first couple of games. The one thing that was consistent with them was that their defense was good other than the Leverkusen game. So I'll give them that. But offensively, they've kind of been hit or miss. A couple times they've looked good. At times they've looked pretty bad. So hard to kind of get an up and down read on them right now and what to expect. Freiburg, meanwhile, they drew both their road matches, Leipzig and Frankfurt, and they lost both their home matches against Leverkusen and Bremen. So oddly, these teams have played 3 of the same 4 teams already in just 4 games back. So that's pretty unique that they've already competed against the same sides. But regardless, Freiburg is winless in the 4 games, but they've done a good job defensively. They allowed just 1 goal to Leipzig, Leverkusen, and Bremen, and they played to a 3-3 shootout against Frankfurt, which is pretty much what everybody does against Frankfurt. So aside from that game, they've played well defensively. They really stifled Leverkusen, who Gladbach struggled with. They only allowed 1 shot on goal. Of course, that 1 shot was Kai Havertz, and he made it, and they ended up losing 0-1. But at the end of the day, I would lean a little towards Gladbach here. They're a better side, but I don't think there's a ton of value in the number. It's a 3/4 goal line. So, if they win, it's probably by 1. So you could take them on the money line. I think it's around -130 right now. But I really like the under better in this game. I think both teams do well defensively. I think both have struggled offensively. So I think this looks like, to me, a game that could be slow-paced and not a lot of chances either way. So it's under 2.75 is the total right now, is the play I would recommend on this one.
He's Nick Borrman. Have you been moved over to WagerTalk yet?
Yes, sir.
Welcome, brother. You can find him at wagertalk.com at Borman00. Pavlos at Pauly_WT. What card do you give him on that?
When it comes to the over-under he just proposed, I agree. No card. I'm just going to say a really interesting fact about this matchup. Is the fact that Gladbach haven't won in that venue in, since 2007. In the last 9 matches, they have 8 losses and only 1 draw. Freiburg have really fried them.
Look at that. Look at that. Did you work on that for like an hour prior to the show?
No. It was just spontaneous. I'm like that. So I'm not really sure that they'll win. So the under could be a 0-0, could be a 1-1. So yeah, I agree with Nick on the totals, but I have to stay off from picking a side here. If I would have to pick, I'd pick Freiburg on the 3/4 goals, but I'll probably stay away, maybe.
Mr. Bianco, I see you're taking notes. How do we get a new host?
Just my own notes, but 2 things here. First, before we get to Nick's possible red card or yellow card or green card or whatever card, Uno card, with regards to the picks and buying, I always believe long-term is better. For guys like who post here a lot, and thank you to them, guys like Kane and Ken. I know you guys have long-term packages. The last few years, I've always had winning years in soccer at the end of the year. There's going to be ebbs and flows along the way. The losses obviously suck when you're on a streak, but the wins eventually come. And I always review every single 1-year package that I have. And even if it's profitable, but it's not profitable the way I thought it was, I actually extend that package an extra month or so. So we'll get back on course. With that said, I agree with a lot of the points that Nick made. This is one of those games, and this is where maybe a yellow comes in. But Nick didn't say I think Nick said there's really no value in that taking that three-quarter goals with Mönchengladbach or laying the three-quarter goals. And I tend to agree because Freiburg's one of those teams that they literally try to force you to play their game. And anytime Mönchengladbach's been forced to play another team's game, it hasn't gone well for them. It didn't in that Bayer Leverkusen game, but it absolutely did in the Union Berlin game. They opened up Union Berlin. They made them play the way they were made to play. But the week before that against Werder Bremen, Bremen played literally like a park the bus type of game. Let me get a point. Let me get out of here. Freiburg could be thinking along the same route. So it's one of those games where I'm not really sure on the total. I would tend to lean if you know on the under here, just because if Freiburg can instill their will here and keep this a tight game with no goals in the first 30 minutes, we may not see a goal the whole game. It all comes down to Thuram for Mönchengladbach. He has to have a good game. I did pick him to score, I think, on the show last week, and he did for us in that Union Berlin game. Yeah, he scored a couple goals. So, and he was absolutely horrible the week before against Bremen. So, I tend to lean on. This is one of those ones where I would lean on the under, but I agree with Nick, so I'm not going to give him a yellow card because he didn't say take the three-quarter of a goal or lay the three-quarters of a goal here.
He's Carmine Bianco. I just want to. There's a guy in the posting forum with the coolest name, Folian Wilson. Why do I like that name? Very original first name, very not original last name. It just meshes really nicely. Guys, I got a request. I need you to bring cards onto the shows from now on, so get yourself a red and a yellow card, please. If you don't know how to get them, just buy a poker set. They're the the cut card in poker sets. Let's get some visualness to these shows. And also, we should, Nick, what do you think? We should ban any Juvo paraphernalia?
I like Juve. I like their.
Look at you, Pavlos, with a sticky.
I like a couple players on the team, so I'm not a fan of banning them altogether. I would just say yellow card.
Okay, so Nick, your favorite team is Dortmund, right?
That's why I'm holding the yellow.
And Carm's favorite team is Juvo. Pavlos,
Juve.
What is your favorite team?
I have a lot of favorite teams.
Oh, the smartest gambler on here, the bearded one.
I have a favorite team from its major soccer league.
Okay, come on. The one pinnacle team of all teams, like, for instance, the Toronto FC. That's my favorite team.
Prez, you're not gonna like his favorite team in MLS.
What's his favorite? Seattle?
Yeah. I'm a Sounders fan.
Yeah, that's okay, dude. Everybody loves a good sound. And if you want to know what that is, actually, I'm banned from discussing this stuff, so we must move on. Carmine Bianco, give us a Euro global update, please.
Well, everything is pretty much returns on the 11th. The EPL returns on the 17th. They've also been approved to hold some friendlies to get the players in game shape. No officials for those games, or no actual EPL officials. If they do have a friendly, the games have to be officiated by members of the club, not players, but coaching staff and stuff. But everything else is pretty much back. So we're just waiting on MLS. And MLS, the plan is to allow teams to practice from home at their home stadiums, and then everyone heads to Orlando. Instead of 2 months in Orlando, it's only 1 month in Orlando. They'll play in 4 groups, 2 in the East, 2 in the West. You'll play each team in your group. Those games will count towards the standings, and then they'll go to a knockout stage. Those games will not count towards the standings. Obviously, you'll win a trophy for whatever the tournament they come up with. it's a meaningless anyways. And then from there, teams will return home. Hopefully, we're at a point we're then at a point where teams can return home and start playing in their own stadiums. Obviously, without fans, I'm going to guess is what they're going to do, but they can at least play there. With regards to teams like Toronto, Montreal, and Vancouver, I'm not really sure because of the fact that for those of you don't know, if you travel into Canada or you travel out of Canada, upon return, you've got to quarantine for 14 days. So that becomes kind of hard for the Canadian teams that are flying south to face a U.S. based opponent. So we'll see what happens there, whether they remedy that, but I don't think they're going to. So they're going to have to figure out what to do as far as where to host the Canadian teams. Here on out, Italy restarts on the 20th. As Juventus defends their title of what? Zeke, is it 7 years in a row, 8 years in a row? I'm not really sure. How many, Zeke? You might know. But I think it's about 8 in a row. It doesn't really matter. The August is the most important thing. It's the Champions League and the Europa League. They're going to figure it out. And that's the trophy you want to win. So,
Carm?
I don't care. I know I'm talking. I don't care if Juve lose Serie A, win Champions League. That's all that matters to me. All right.
Okay, let's take a few questions from our listeners, but I do want to let everybody know I'm willing to be bribed. I do not have a favorite soccer team. Zeke, you want me to be a fan of your team? Get me a shirt with the name The Prez on the back. First shirt that comes to me, you can email me for an address, prez@wagertalk.com. First shirt that comes, that's the team I will cheer for vehemently for the rest of my life. Carm, you don't count because you can just drive a Juvo shirt over to my house like in 20 minutes.
It's Juve.
Juvo. I'm entitled to call it any. It's actually Juventus. So if you want to make a nickname, I can make a nickname. Paulie C, Liverpool. Get me a Liverpool shirt. That was my team growing up, Carm. Did you know that?
Was it? Yeah. Do you know the words to the song? Their song?
No.
Do you even know their song?
Okay.
You'll Never Walk Alone?
Nick, one of our listeners, Justin, wants a tip on the game kicking off in a little bit. I don't know what game that is, but it's kicking off in a little bit. Go.
That would be the Frankfurt game, which is goals. Goals. Go over.
They're
over
playing Bayer, right?
They're playing Bremen.
I knew it was a B. It's not like I'm Mr. Soccer Guy here. I'm just here to make the show move along.
Go over the total on that one. I like Frankfurt over. They can't play defense against anybody.
You agree, Pavlos? I think Pavlos has left the building. Carm?
Yellow card. It's a red card.
Yeah, I on the WagerTalk site, I did give that first half over as a play. I gave that first 7 goals in the first half of in the 4 first halves of their games thus far for Eintracht Frankfurt. 3 of the 4 games have had 2+ goals in the first half. They're just a team that plays a much more open style of play. And again, it's who enforces their will in this game. If Frankfurt can get Bremen to play their style, we're going to see a lot of goals. If Bremen gets Frankfurt to play their style, we're going to see a 1-0 game. I'm kind of hoping it's the Frankfurt version of it because we'd all love to see a lot of goals today.
Pavlos, anything on the Premier League futures market?
I'm not sure if you can hear me because my PC
I can hear you now, brother.
I logged. Let me take a look because I had something noted up, but just give me a second here. Can I get a rain check on
Nick?
that?
No, but I caught you off guard. These are questions in the forum, nothing you researched. I get it. Nick or Carm, either one of you have a thought?
Go ahead, Nick. Go.
I was just going to say I haven't looked at it because I would imagine as far as the outright winner, obviously there's not even probably a lineup on Liverpool, but the other options might be top 4 or relegated. I honestly haven't even looked at it.
Okay, let's move on. West Coast, nice to see you. He writes, Prez, the time off the tube didn't diminish your charm one bit. Carm, do you find that sarcastic or sincere?
Possibly a little bit of both. I want to give out a red card, but I'm going to go with the yellow and a bit of a warning.
Okay, there you go. Well, I appreciate the kind, sincere, and sarcastic words, but the problem is I haven't had time off the tube. I've been going nonstop. Guys, make sure to check out our 2 p.m. show. It's a NASCAR show. Steve Merrill hosts with Andy Lang and Rocky Atkinson. It's an outstanding show. Oh, look, Carm, Chris from WagerTalk finally said something.
It is the show that he looks forward to every week.
He really does.
I'm glad that he's here.
He really, really does. Guys, we're going to have a huge promo for you people on Friday. Carm, what are you going to do?
I am hopefully going to pick a winner by Friday.
For the promo.
I will send the promo up on the screen, and it is a promo to take advantage of. It'll be a 7-day promo. It'll be one that's priced perfectly right for you guys to try. Either Nick, our Irish friend, Kevin, the man who can't seem to lose a pick, Pavlos, and the man who can't seem to win a pick, Carmine. So I'm going to cover all 4 of us, and we're going to get you guys winning and loving this game of soccer that we love here.
West Coast said it was sincere. I'm honestly touched. No host in all of the WagerTalk family gets more crap than me, and I will have it no other way. So when I do get some love, I appreciate it greatly. That's the show. I love doing the show with you guys. I love learning about soccer. I bet soccer. As I told everybody, I am available to cheer for your team. Send me a shirt. I need the name the Prez on the back, not just Prez. And I will be a fan of your team for the rest of my life. Nick, you want to end the show with anything?
Kevin Dolan, if you're listening, send him a Cork City jersey.
Oh, yeah, that's right. He's got the Cork City jerseys. I'm going to send Prez a Montreal Canadiens jersey.
That'd be a soccer team?
Yeah, well, they kind of play like it because soccer teams very rarely score.
That's a good point.
Ooh, that was well played.
Yes, well played. Pavlos, anything before we call it a show?
I'm going to send you a Seattle Sounders uniform.
Oh, wait. I have to rephrase. If a team from Toronto is in the league, I will not accept the shirt. I am a homer through and through. But Zekin, baby, I'm all about. What's in the colors of Zekin's team?
They're light blue.
I'm really hoping whoever does send me a shirt, I'm really hoping for orange. If you go back and you look at all the shirts that I wear, I would say about 80% of them are orange. Nick, who's the best orange team out there?
Maybe go with, Wolves are yellow, I guess, aren't they? They're not really orange.
Yeah, those are two separate colors.
I don't know. It's kind of like a close in between. I don't know who I'd go with on orange.
Pavlos, what's an orange team? Surely Dutch have an orange team.
The Netherlands.
The Netherlands.
Yeah, but I need a team that plays all the time, like in a league.
It's a very peculiar color.
Yeah, real peculiar. Let's call it a show, boys. Love you all for watching. I cannot thank you guys enough. We'll be around on Friday. We're going to look at the Bunda on Friday. We're swapping out Pavlos for Kevin. It's a substitution. You only get one a week, and that's the one we choose. Red Lions, who are they? Oh, I know who they are, but they don't sound orange.
Well, how about here's one for you.
Taiwan.
Okay, I'll cheer for a Taiwan team. I'm good to go. Love you all. Make sure to stay with us at 2 p.m. Eastern, the NASCAR show. 3 p.m. straight from the strip with Gianni Kelly and Minty. And then 4 p.m. Andrew McGinnis and Dave Koken on the KBO show. And some would think we're not busy. Later, boys. Love doing this. Thank you guys so much for joining.